Su Kong forwarded the screenshot of his college application choices to Wang Nan, typing, "Here, copy mine, no need to thank me." The other person quickly sent a face-covering laughing emoji, then typed back, "I'll treat you to milk tea this afternoon to express my gratitude." Su Kong replied, "You said it. I want the most expensive kind." The other person sent another face-covering laughing emoji, followed by, "Yeah, you decide." Su Kong chuckled happily when suddenly Qin Wan's voice came from downstairs. "Su Kong, Linny, dinner's ready." Su Kong shut down his computer and went downstairs, finding 7 dishes and a soup laid out on the table, including things that fly, run on the ground, and swim in the water, a very lavish spread. Qin Wan said smilingly, "Xiao Kong, come sit down and see if Annie's cooking suits your taste." Su Kong noticed that the cook was helping to add rice and get chopsticks, but did not seem inclined to sit at the table. He curiously asked, "Mom, aren't the Annies eating?" One of the older cooks quickly said, "We'll eat later ourselves." It was Su Kang's first time eating at home, so he didn't know the rules and said nothing more. He noticed that Lin Yi hadn't come down yet and asked, "Hasn't he come down yet?" Qin Wan replied, "She's always dawdling. Just ignore her." Qin Wan pulled Su Kong down to sit, handing him a bowl of rice, and then put several pieces of shrimp and fish into his bowl, making Su Kong blush. Su Kong said, "Mom, I'm so old, I can do it myself." After saying that, he picked up his chopsticks and started to eat, taking several bites in a row. He saw that Qin Wan was still staring at him, and asked, "Mom, aren't you eating?" Qin Wan smiled and said, "I'm not very hungry. How do you find the food? Is it good?" Su Kong replied, "It's definitely delicious. I've never had anything like this before." Then he took another big bite. Qin Wan looked at him with a smile, picking up a large bowl of plain congee beside her. Just then, a thumping sound came from the spiral staircase, and Lin Yi, like a gust of wind, rushed down from the 3rd floor. Seeing Su Kong, she rolled her trademark eye and sat down on the other side of Qin Wan. Lin Yi looked at the table full of food and happily exclaimed, "Wow, why are there so many good things today?" Su Kong thought that the family shouldn't be short on money, so he asked, "Don't you usually eat well?" Lin Yi, rare for her, didn't get angry. She glanced at Qin Wan and said, "One's cultivating immortality, the other's chanting Buddhist scriptures, and I'm in my growing stage. I have to accompany them eating vegetables and radishes every day." Su Kong laughed. Looking at Qin Wan, he saw that her face was slightly embarrassed. She said, "Lin Yi, whenever you want to eat something good, haven't I given it to you?" Lin Yi snorted and said, "But if I don't order, it's just cabbage and radishes." "Mom, please go check out the other families in our neighborhood who eats vegetables and radishes every day." Su Kong laughed even louder. Qin Wan couldn't keep a straight face anymore and said to Lin Yi, "My blood sugar is a bit high. Your dad has high cholesterol, and your grandmother's stroke this time was also caused by high cholesterol, so we have to be careful about our family's diet. I specifically asked the best experts in the country to create a diet. How can it become just vegetables and radishes in your mouth?" Lin Yi curled her lip after hearing that, saying, "Then why aren't you listening to those experts today? Isn't your brother home? Look at how thin your brother is. How can he be okay if he doesn't eat more meat?" At this moment, Qin Wan's phone suddenly rang. After she answered it and chatted with the person for a while, she suddenly said to Su Kong, "Xiao Kong, Su Jiaying invited you to a charity dinner tomorrow night. There will be a lot of celebrities attending. Would you like to go?" Before Su Kong could answer, Lin Yi immediately chimed in, "Mom, I'll go. I love these kinds of events the most." Qin Wan glared at Lin Yi, and then she heard Su Kong ask, "Mom, who is Su Jiaying?" Qin Wan said, "Your second uncle's daughter, Su Qi's older sister." Lin Yi said from the side, "TSK, you don't even know Su Jiaying? Have you not watched the TV drama Campus at 18 she starred in?" Su Kong asked in surprise, "My cousin is an actress?" Lin Yi said, "Yeah, I know, and you didn't know? Also, your cousin Su Chang's wife is the big star Lu Wen." Su Kong smiled wryly. "Why didn't anyone tell me about this? My cousin-in-law is a big star, and my cousin is a small star. Am I living in a star-studded family?" Qin Wan handed the phone to Su Kong, saying, "You can talk to your cousin yourself." Su Kong took the phone and said, "Cousin, hello, this is Su Kong." The other side said, "Calling me cousin sounds so awful. You have to call me sister, understand?" Su Kong blushed a little and called out sister. The other side chuckled. "You must come to the dinner tomorrow. There will be a lot of big stars and also many stars from Hong Kong and Taiwan." Lin Yi came to Su Kang's side and softly said to Su Kong, "I want to go too. I want to go too." Su Kong said helplessly, "Sister, can I bring one more? 2 more people tomorrow?" The other side said, "Sure, it's settled then. I'll send you the address to your phone later." "All right, one more thing. Suchi asked you to go to the local police station tomorrow. Your new ID card is just one step away from completion. You need to go in person. Okay. You can also get your household registration book tomorrow. Grandpa asked if you want to be registered under the Su family or your mom's. Qinwan clearly heard what Su Jiaying said, and she stopped eating, watching Su Kong nervously. Su Kong noticed Qinwan's eyes, and his heart skipped a beat. It finally came, no matter which side I choose, I will offend the other side. Just as Su Kong was hesitating, he saw Qinwan smiling at him. Su Kong knew that she was letting him choose the Su family. Su Kong said to the phone, "Sister, I still want to register my household under my mom's side." "All right, then remember to bring your aunt's household registration book with you tomorrow." After Su Kong hung up the phone, Qinwan said, pretending to be calm, "Wasn't I signaling you to choose the Su family?" Su Kong smiled and said in a spoiled tone, "I don't care, I want to be with you." "Ugh, I'm going to get goosebumps," Lin Yi said from the side. Su Kong said, "If you say another word, I won't take you tomorrow night." Lin Yi didn't dare to say anything more in the end, her big eyes staring hard at Su Kong. Qinwan listened to the siblings bickering and lowered her head, drinking the kanji, but she saw herself in the bowl, with tears already in her eyes. After lunch and a short rest, Su Kong and his driver, Li He, headed out. After picking up Wang Nan, Su Kong said, "Wang Nan, are you free tomorrow night? I want to take you to a celebrity charity gala." Wang Nan happily replied, "Sure, where is it?" "At Luchuan Manor. My cousin, Su Jiaying, called me today and asked me to come over and hang out." "Oh, so Jiaying is back too. I wonder if Lu Zhe will be there. I'm his biggest fan." Wang Nan was visibly excited, clearly looking forward to the evening. Seeing Wang Nan's happiness, Su Kong smiled and asked, "By the way, are there any luxury shopping malls nearby?" Wang Nan laughed. "Are you really going to buy me a bag?" "Of course," Su Kong said, raising his wrist. "Look, I'm still wearing the watch you gave me." Wang Nan smiled sweetly and took Su Kang's hand. "Anything is fine with me. I'll be happy with whatever you get me." Su Kong was a little troubled. He wasn't familiar with Beijing. He turned to his driver, Li He, for help. Li He reluctantly said, "Why don't we go to SKP? President Qin often shops there." Su Kong was about to agree, but Wang Nan interjected, "No, that place is so expensive and there's nothing fun around it. Let's go to Wangfujing Street instead. They also sell bags there, and it's the most characteristic of Beijing, with lots of fun places too." Seeing Wang Nan's eager expression, Su Kong said, "All right then." And so, the three of them headed straight for Wangfujing Street. Once they arrived, Li He, as usual, went off to find a place to rest. Wang Nan and Su Kong walked hand in hand along the street, gazing at the numerous malls on both sides, the bustling crowds, and the many foreign tourists mixed in. Su Kong couldn't help but marvel at Beijing, truly worthy of being called Beijing. If Qinwan hadn't led him out of his small county, he never would have seen such a prosperous world. Wang Nan said, "Wangfujing Street is the earliest commercial street in Beijing. There are many stores here, some with hundreds of years of history." With that, Wang Nan pulled Su Kong into a large building, saying, "Let me show you this department store first. It's got many years of history too." And so, for the rest of the afternoon, Su Kong followed Wang Nan as she weaved through Wangfujing Street. They bought a few clothes, went to a snack street for treats, and even visited an arcade to play claw machines. By the time the sun began to set, Su Kong was carrying numerous bags, feeling utterly exhausted. Seeing Wang Nan still full of energy, he couldn't help but say, "Wang Nan, why don't we go by the bag now? It's almost dark." Wang Nan looked at Su Kang's tired face and laughed. "Why do you look so worn out? Aren't boys supposed to have good stamina?" Su Kong shook his head. "I just want to find a place to sit for a while." Wang Nan looked a little embarrassed and said, "Then, how about we find a place to eat first? I promised my mom I'd be home for dinner when I left." Su Kong noticed a strange expression on Wang Nan's face, as if she wanted to say something, and asked, "What's wrong?" Wang Nan sighed and said, "Your mom wouldn't disapprove of us being together, would she?" Su Kong was surprised and asked, "Why do you say that? Your mom knows we're together, but every mealtime she wants you to go home. It was like that at noon, and now again tonight." Su Kong chuckled and said, "You misunderstood. You know, I've been away for over 10 years, and my mom longs most for a simple meal with the whole family. So, Wang Nan, let me spend more time with her these days. We'll be going to the same university, and we'll have plenty of time together in the future." Wang Nan looked ashamed and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't think about that." Su Kong smiled and took Wang Nan's hand. "Let's go. Let's buy the bag now." Although Su Kong didn't know much about bags, he had heard of brands like Chanel and LV. They had barely walked a few steps when he saw an LV store with a piano placed near the glass front. Beside it, a sign read, "Play a song, and if you attract 30 tourists into the store within 5 minutes, you can enjoy a 20% discount." Su Kong didn't take it seriously. It was just a common tactic for businesses to attract customers. Walking into the store, the staff only showed slight surprise when they saw the young couple. After all, this was Beijing, a place full of wealthy people. A young sales associate approached them and asked, "May I help you, sir and madam?" Su Kong said, "I'd like to buy a bag for my girlfriend." The sales associate instantly thought they were in for a big sale and happily said to Wang Nan, "Wow, you're so beautiful. No wonder your boyfriend is so good to you." True to form for a salesperson, with that one sentence, she made the two of them feel as sweet as if they'd eaten honey. Wang Nan circled the store, finally stopping at a sky blue women's bag. The well-versed sales associate seized the opportunity, took the bag off the counter, and said, "This is our latest women's bag this year. Look how delicate the orchid embroidered on it is. It matches your image perfectly." Wang Nan took the bag from the sales associate, held it up, and looked at it repeatedly in the mirror. Indeed, as the salesperson said, this handbag perfectly matched her fresh and refined image. Wang Nan glanced at the price tag, and her joyful expression instantly fell. She returned the handbag to the sales associate, saying, "I'll look around some more." Su Kong took the handbag in his hand and said, "I think this one looks pretty good. Let's take this one." Wang Nan gently tugged at Su Kang's arm, saying, "This is too expensive. Let me pick a cheaper one." Su Kong currently had over 40,000 yuan in cash, money that Qin Wan had given him after a few days of playing mahjong. It was in his wallet. He also had over 30 million yuan in his bank card, but he hadn't touched it. Su Kong felt confident and said, "It's all right, I have money." Su Kong handed the handbag to the sales associate and said, "Please wrap this up for me. Where do I pay?" The sales associate, who had been nervous when Wang Nan wanted to return the bag, now beamed and said, "The cashier is over here. It's 68,000 yuan in total." Su Kong was taking out his wallet when he heard this, and thought he had misheard. "How much?" he asked. The sales associate began to worry again and said, "Sir, it's 68,000 yuan." Su Kong felt a sharp pang of pain in his heart. Is this made of gold? It's so expensive, he thought. Wang Nan chimed in, "Why don't we pick a cheaper one? I think the red one looks good too." The sales associate, afraid that Su Kong wouldn't be able to afford it, also said, "Yes, I have many other styles of women's bags here. Some of them very good value for money. Would you like to take a look?" "This one is fine," said Su Kong, taking a card from his wallet. "I don't have that much cash on me. Can I use a card?" The sales associate said happily, "Of course, sir." "Wait a minute," Wang Nan said, pointing at the piano at the entrance. "That activity you have written on the wall, is that real? Are you referring to the activity about playing the piano and attracting 30 customers into the store?" Wang Nan nodded. The sales associate smiled and said, "Of course it's real. Do you want to try it, miss?" Wang Nan hummed in agreement and sat down at the piano. She called out to Su Kong, "Su Kong, please count for me later to see if there are 30 people." Su Kong naturally agreed. Wang Nan lightly touched the piano keys. Which song would attract 30 people? Seeing Su Kong standing beside her, Wang Nan smiled faintly. "It'll be this one," she decided. Wang Nan's fingers moved, and a beautiful melody flowed from the piano. Su Kong was stunned for a moment. She was playing Fairy Tale. Sure enough, when passers-by heard the piano music, they looked over out of curiosity. Some glanced, and then quickly left, while others stopped to listen to the music outside the door. When they saw who was playing, they were struck by her beauty. Gradually, more and more people gathered outside the store, but not many entered. Su Kong quietly watched Wang Nan. Her focused expression, as she played the piano, made her look like a fairy descended from the heavens. Su Kong couldn't help but think, she's smart and beautiful, and she can even play the piano. Aside from studying, I'm pretty ordinary in all other aspects. If it weren't for my special identity, what would I have to offer to be her boyfriend? After the song was over, Wang Nan happily stood up and asked, "How many people came in just now? Did you keep count?" Su Kong scratched his head sheepishly and said, "I was watching you play the piano and forgot to count." The sales associate said, "I counted just now, it was 12. There are security cameras inside. You could take a look if you don't believe me." Although Su Kong hadn't counted, he had noticed that most people were just hanging around outside and hadn't entered. He waved his hand and said to the sales associate, "No need to check, just swipe the card." The sales associate swiped the card, and she relaxed only after she heard the notification of the successful transaction. After wrapping up the blue handbag and handing it to Su Kong, she said with a smile, "I didn't expect your girlfriend to be not only beautiful, but also able to play the piano. Sir, you are so lucky." Su Kong grinned. He had to admit, he felt the same way. After buying the handbag, Su Kong still followed his usual routine, first sending Wang Nan home, before heading back to his own place. After having dinner with Qin Wan and Lin Yi, Su Kong returned to his room, took out his diary from a drawer. In just the past few days, his life had gone through earth-shattering changes. Since he had free time tonight, he decided to record the events that had happened. Su Kong had only written a few words when his phone beeped with a notification. He opened it and saw that it was the driving school instructor sending him his driving lesson schedule. Starting tomorrow, he would have lessons every 2 days for 2 hours each time. The instructor also noted that his schedule and Wang Nan's would be the same, and they would both be in the morning. After reading the message, Su Kong sent a thank you reply to the instructor, then buried himself back into writing in his diary. The next morning, Su Kong and Wang Nan arrived at the driving school together. Su Kong had to go to handle his ID card and household registration book later, so he practiced driving first. Although he was a little nervous at first, he was young and quick to learn, and gradually he improved. 2 hours later, Su Kong finished his practice, told Wang Nan, and then had Li Heiqi drive him to the police station. Because Su Tao had made arrangements with the police station, things went very smoothly. Before noon, Su Kong had obtained his new ID card, and a new page had been added to Qin Wan's household registration book. From now on, the name Lu Shuai was completely a thing of the past. Since he had some rare free time today, Su Kong planned to take a good look around Kyoto in the afternoon. He gave the household registration book to the driver, Li He, and told him to take it home. Li He was worried about Su Kang's safety, so he insisted on accompanying him. Su Kong knew that this must be an arrangement made by his mother, Qin Wan, so he had to bring him along. The two of them just had a simple bowl of noodles by the roadside. After eating, they drove to Jingshan Park. Kyoto had a large population, and even though it was a hot afternoon, the scenic area was still crowded. Li stayed by Su Kang's side the whole time. Seeing that Su Kang's clothes were already soaked with sweat, he said, "Young Master Su, if you want to come out to see some of Kyoto's local customs and natural scenery, you can tell President Qin. She will arrange everything for you. This way, you wouldn't be just coming to a tourist spot to look at people." Su Kong smiled and said, "It's okay, looking at people is also a kind of scenery. I used to be in a small county. Where would I see so many people?" Li He laughed after hearing this. Although he had only spent a few days with Su Kong, he had always had a good impression of him. Although he didn't talk much, he didn't have any airs of a young master. Li said, "Everyone knows that Kyoto has a long history and is the political and cultural center of our country, so they all want to come and see, especially during the summer vacation. There isn't a scenic spot that isn't packed." Su Kong said, "Yeah, my former homeroom teacher, Mr. Chow, often said in class that he had never been to Kyoto and wanted to come, but he couldn't because of various reasons. Young Master Su, why don't you invite your teacher to come to Kyoto for a few days? People of his age have a special feeling for Kyoto." Su Kong was taken aback. That's right, he could invite Mr. Chow over. His mother, Qin Wan, would definitely not object. He also thought that he had been in Kyoto for so many days and had not contacted Mr. Chow, and he felt quite guilty. So he took out his phone and called Mr. Chow. The call was quickly answered, and Mr. Chow said, "Hello, Su Kong. Why are you suddenly calling the teacher today? Is there something wrong?" Su Kong felt warm inside. Mr. Chow was still the same Mr. Chow, always caring about him. Su Kong said, "Mr. Chow, I'm fine. I'm doing well here. I'm calling you to ask if you're busy this summer vacation. If you're not busy, I'd like to invite you to come to Kyoto for a visit. After all, you often said in the past that the place you wanted to go to most in this lifetime was Kyoto." On the other end of the phone, Mr. Chow laughed heartily and said, "You're still thinking of me, kid. Are you having a college entrance banquet? If you are, I'll come with teacher Liang and Chao Qian. But let me say in advance, when I get to Kyoto, my food, accommodation, and transportation will all be your responsibility. After all, things are expensive in Kyoto, and we can't afford it." Su Kong said with a smile, "Okay, I'm rich now. It's all on me." Su Kong also thought of Chao Qian, and then asked, "By the way, Mr. Chow, when is Chao Qian's college entrance banquet?" "It hasn't been decided yet, probably around early August. If it's inconvenient for you, you don't have to come back. It's too far away." Chao Qian had been one of Su Kang's better friends in junior and senior high school, and with the connection of Mr. Chow, Su Kong had to attend Chao Qian's college entrance banquet no matter what. Su Kong said, "It's convenient. I don't have anything to do in Kyoto." On the other end of the phone, Mr. Chow smiled and said, "Okay, it's good for you to come back and see your old classmates." After hanging up the phone, Su Kong looked at the time, and it was already 4:30, so he set off with Li He to Luchuan Manor. Before arriving at their destination, Su Kong noticed that the number of cars and people on the road gradually increased. Fans holding photos of their idols were everywhere. Su Kong was surprised and asked Li He, who was driving, "Can all these fans enter the venue?" How big is the venue? The fans definitely can't get in, otherwise the scene would be chaotic. They're just here on the road to the manor to see their idols and support them. Speaking of which, these fans are crazy enough. No matter how crazy they are, these celebrities won't look at you twice. It's better to spend this time doing something you like. Everyone in this world is different. Just like these celebrities today, some of them will post their schedules online in advance, indirectly guiding fans to come and cheer for them, so as to increase their status. Su Kong smiled, non-committal. Suddenly his phone rang. Su Kong picked it up and saw that it was his younger sister, Lin Yi. "Hello, what's wrong?" Su Kong said. "Come pick me up quickly, my driver just called me and said there was an emergency at his home and he can't come." Su Kong was speechless. Seeing that there was still time, he said, "Then wait a bit, I'll have Uncle Lee come over." Su Kong hung up the phone and called Wang Nan. It turned out she hadn't left yet, so he asked her to wait a bit and have Lee pick them up together. After Su Kong gave Lee a few instructions, he got out of the car himself. Luckily, the rest of the road wasn't far, and he could already see the entrance of the manor. However, when Su Kong got out of the car, he still caused a small stir among the surrounding fans. After all, a Maserati was already a luxury car in the eyes of ordinary people. Su Kong didn't like the feeling of being stared at, so he quickened his pace towards the manor. At the entrance of Luchuan Manor, many security guards were already standing there. They had formed a human wall to create a path and block the frantic fans. When celebrities passed through this section of the road, most of them would roll down their car windows and interact with the fans outside, which would then cause a burst of wild cheering. Entrepreneurs, on the other hand, were much more low-key. Their cars would not make any movements as they passed by, since the fans would not recognize them. Su Kong saw that there were also various small vendors on both sides of the road, selling glow sticks, celebrity photos, water, and snacks. Su Kong had not eaten enough at noon, and he had been walking all afternoon, so he was both hungry and thirsty. He went to a small vendor and ordered a jianbing guozi and a bottle of mineral water. Although Su Jiaying had said that the organizers would provide dinner before the evening party, he still wanted to have something to fill his stomach. The vendor was a middle-aged uncle in his 40s. He saw that Su Kong looked relaxed, and he wasn't like the other fans who had idol photos or names on them. So he asked curiously, "Which celebrity are you a fan of?" Su Kong smiled and said, "I'm not a fan of anyone. I'm here to attend the evening party." The vendor laughed after hearing this. "You're here to attend the evening party, and you're buying a jianbing guozi from me for 5 yuan?" Su Kong said embarrassedly, "I'm hungry, just having something to fill my stomach." The vendor handed the finished jianbing guozi to Su Kong. Su Kong took a bite, and it was fragrant and crispy, not bad at all. The vendor said, "Young man, I bet you won't be able to get through that gate today." Su Kong was amused and asked, "Why are you so sure I can't get in?" The vendor chuckled twice. "Do you want to bet on something?" Su Kang's interest was piqued. "Sure, you decide. If I win, you buy another top-tier jianbing guozi from me. If I lose, I'll give you a top-tier jianbing guozi." "Okay, no problem." So Su Kong took a bottle of mineral water in one hand and a jianbing guozi in the other, and swaggered towards the gate. "What are you doing? No idlers allowed in here." A chubby security guard stopped Su Kong. "My name is Su Kong. My cousin Su Jiaying asked me to come. Didn't she tell you?" The security guard sized Su Kong up, looking at him as if he were an idiot, and said, "What nonsense is this? You're probably not right in the head." The surrounding crowd heard the commotion and looked over. Su Kang's big toes were embarrassed and tightly clenched. He asked through gritted teeth, "Then how do I get in?" The security guard chuckled. "Have Su Jiaying bring you in." Su Kong went back to the jianbing guozi stand with a crestfallen face. The vendor chuckled and said, "How about it, young man, you lost. Hurry and order a deluxe version of the jianbing guozi." Su Kong was depressed and didn't respond to the vendor's words. He took out his phone and called Su Jiaying. After it was connected, Su Jiaying said, "Su Kong, have you arrived?" Su Kong said, "Sis, I've arrived, but the security guard won't let me in." Su Jiaying said strangely, "That's impossible. Didn't I give the organizers your license plate number?" Only then did Su Kong realize where the problem was. He explained to Su Jiaying apologetically that the car had gone out to pick up Lin Yi and Wang Nan. Su Jiaying laughed. "What were you thinking, trying to get in on your face? Do you think you're me? Does the security guard know you?" "Sis, what do I do now?" "What else can you do? I'll have someone come and pick you up." "No, I'd better go myself." The vendor saw that Su Kong had hung up the phone and said, "You're still not giving up and want to get in. Do you think your sister is some big star?" Su Kong said, "My sister is only considered a newbie, but my sister-in-law is a big star." The vendor scoffed, obviously not believing it, and said, "I think you're just being stubborn and not admitting defeat." After a while, just as Su Kong finished eating the jianbing guozi, he saw two beautiful women come out of the manor. Both were wearing hats and masks, only revealing their eyes. They were followed by a few staff members. One of the women took out her phone and made a call. Su Kang's phone rang quickly. Su Kang quickly walked over to the two of them and called out, "Sis, I'm over here." Su Jiaying put her phone back in her bag and said, "I'm really impressed with you. You specifically requested your license plate number last night, and yet you didn't drive." Su Kang awkwardly didn't know how to respond. The other woman said, "Why is it that you only have your sister in your eyes, not your sister-in-law? You don't even call me sister-in-law after seeing me." Su Kang looked at her. He saw her quickly pull off her mask and then put it back on. It was none other than the big star Lu Wen, Su Chang's wife, his cousin's wife. Su Kang's face turned red, and he said, "Hello, sister-in-law." People in the surrounding crowd quickly recognized Lu Wen and shouted her name loudly. Lu Wen simply stopped hiding and took off her mask, generously responding to her fans. Su Jiaying muttered to the side, "Isn't that impressive to have a lot of fans? In a few years, I'll have more fans than her. Su Kang, let's go inside. Let her show off here by herself." Lu Wen laughed. "Oh, are you jealous? You, a newbie, should be happy to have any fans at all. Don't be so ungrateful." Su Jiaying turned her head away and hummed. Lu Wen laughed. "Okay, when I was your age, I wasn't as famous as you are." Su Jiaying proudly raised her head. Even with a mask on, one could still feel that the corners of her mouth were barely able to hold back a smile. In fact, she wasn't really angry. On the contrary, she and Lu Wen were family, and they were both in the entertainment circle. The two shared resources in the circle and had a very good relationship, which was why they would playfully show their little tempers. Lu Wen turned to the chubby security guard and said, "This person was invited to attend the evening party, but he didn't drive here today. It's fine if I bring him in, right?" The chubby security guard bowed his head and nodded repeatedly, then said awkwardly to Su Kang, "I apologize for my rudeness just now, but I was just following the rules. Please forgive me." Su Kang smiled, indicating that it was okay. The vendor who was selling Jianbing Guizi watched this scene and thought, that young man really wasn't just boasting. "I'm done for. I still owe him a Jianbing Guizi." Su Kang entered the manor and was immediately drawn to the Western-style building directly in front of him. Although it was only 3 stories high, it occupied a vast area. To the left of the building was a small lake about the size of a football field, the water clear and sparkling. Along the lake shore was a row of sun umbrellas, each with 2 beach chairs underneath. Many people were currently lying on the beach chairs, drinking juice and enjoying the cool evening breeze of the summer evening. In addition, the manor was filled with various precious ornamental trees. It was hard to imagine that there could be such a large private manor in Kyoto, where land was so expensive. Su Kang asked, "Sister, who do you think is so rich that they can have such a large manor in Kyoto?" "This manor has always been managed by a third party. Our event this time was arranged with that third party, so no one knows the true owner of this manor yet." Lu Wen said from the side, "Su Kang, do you think it could be your mom's? After all, she's super rich." Su Jiaying shook her head and said, "But her mom is very frugal. She wouldn't spend billions to buy a manor she wouldn't use." Su Kang said, "There are so many rich people in this world. Who knows?" Su Kang suddenly thought of something and said, "By the way, why haven't I seen my older brother, Su Chang, and the others?" Lu Wen said, "Some of them have to work and some don't like this kind of occasion, so they didn't come. Su Chi didn't want to come and have some fun, but..." Lu Wen smiled and looked at Su Jiaying. "What would he come for? He's always idle," Su Jiaying said. "Oh, so when your own younger brother comes, he's idle. But why did you call Su Kang, your cousin, over?" Lu Wen laughed. Su Jiaying ignored Lu Wen and turned to Su Kang, saying, "When you came back to Kyoto a few days ago, your sister-in-law Lu Wen and I were filming and couldn't come back, so the main reason we invited you to this event was to see you. Secondly, since you young people all like chasing celebrities, we brought you to see them. If my former classmates knew that my older sister was Su Jiaying and my sister-in-law was Lu Wen, they would probably take a flight over immediately to ask for autograph photos." Su Kang laughed. "Haha, then you can have as many as you want." Su Jiaying laughed happily. "Sister Jiaying, what's making you laugh so happily?" Coming towards them was the popular young star, Lu Zhe. He first politely greeted Lu Wen, and then looked at Su Kang and said, "This little brother looks very unfamiliar." "I'm not an entertainer. Jiaying just brought me here to have some fun," Su Kang said. "Oh, so are you Jiaying Je's younger brother, Su Chi?" "No, I'm Su Kang, her cousin. Su Chi Ji is several years older than me." Hearing Su Kang's introduction, the enthusiasm on Lu Zhe's face clearly diminished, obviously not taking him seriously. He turned his head back to Su Jiaying and said, Jiaying, I just came from director Zhao Gang. He praised your acting in your latest drama very highly and said he wanted to collaborate with you on his next drama. Zhao Gang was a well-known director in China. Several of his recent films have become hugely popular, not only doing well at the box office, but also receiving numerous awards. Su Jiaying smiled broadly upon hearing this and said, "Really? Is director Zhao Gang here too?" Lu Zhe said, "He's in the main hall. Do you want me to take you there now?" Let's go, Su Jiaying urged as she walked. She had only taken a few steps before suddenly turning around and saying, "Sister Luwen, aren't you coming with me?" "You go ahead, I'll take Su Kong for a little walk," Luwen said. Su Jiaying then remembered that Luwen had a falling out with director Zhao Gang a year ago, so she didn't insist anymore. She then said to Su Kong, "There will be a simple dinner in the banquet hall at 6 o'clock. Remember to go with Sister Luwen for dinner." After seeing Su Kong nod in agreement, she quickly left with Lu Zhe. Seeing that Su Jiaying had already gone far away, Su Kong curiously asked Luwen, "Sister-in-law, why didn't you go with them?" Luwen smiled faintly and said, "Last year, I collaborated with Zhao Gang on a drama. At the time, Zhao Gang wanted to use a certain popular young star to play the second male lead, and I strongly opposed it. Although I won in the end, there was a rift between us." Su Kong hadn't expected there to be such a story in between. Although he didn't pay attention to the entertainment industry, he knew that Luwen had participated in many of Zhao Gang's movies, and he had thought their relationship was quite deep. Su Kong said, "Aren't actors supposed to listen to the director? How did you end up winning?" "I'm also a popular young actress, okay? Besides, I have the Su family backing me. I'm not afraid of him." Su Kong fell silent. The influence of the Su family was much greater than he had imagined. "Do you know who that popular young star was back then?" Luwen asked, and upon seeing Su Kang's blank look, she said, "It was that Lu Zhe from just now. He looks so greasy and his acting is like a grade schooler, but he has so many fans, supposedly 80 million of them. I don't know what kind of people his fans are. So that's Lu Zhe." Su Kong remembered that Wang Nan had said yesterday that she was Lu Zhe's fan. Su Kong said with a smile, "No wonder he was so cold towards you just now, even though you're much bigger than Jiaying." Luwen sighed and said, "I don't know what's going on with the entertainment industry nowadays. Traffic stars are running rampant, and some talented actors have no dramas to film." Su Kong said, "When I was in school, my history teacher once said that in certain historical periods, due to various reasons, a phenomenon of bad money driving out good money will occur. But from the perspective of the entire history of human civilization, good money will inevitably drive out bad money. I think this sentence also applies to the entertainment industry today. Actors will ultimately need to rely on their acting skills to go further." Upon hearing this, Luwen's eyes lit up and she said, "You really are a high achiever. You speak so eloquently. Then tell me, am I an idol or a talent?" "Oh no, a tricky question." Su Kong said, "In the eyes of the audience, you're a talent. And in the eyes of your fans, you're an idol. My older brother Su Chong is really lucky to have married you." Luwen laughed. "Your brother Su Chong told me you're honest and have a clumsy tongue, but I think you're quite eloquent." Su Kong scratched his head awkwardly. At this moment, a Cantonese voice rang out. "Luwen, long time no see." Su Kong turned his head and looked. It was actually the Hong Kong and Taiwan superstar, Chen Hua. He had been in the industry for over 30 years, and when he was young, he had filmed countless action-packed martial arts movies. Now that he was older, he had been busy with public service, so he had fewer works. He was a veteran artist with both virtue and talent. Luwen quickly stepped forward to shake his hand and said, "I didn't expect that you'd come too, Brother Hua. It seems that the last time we met was at the Film Festival Gala 2 years ago. It's really been a long time." Chen Hua laughed and said, "You're doing so well now, a few of your movies have been big box office hits. The younger generation is catching up fast." "In front of Brother Hua, I'll always be a student," Luwen said. Chen Hua said, "You're too humble." After saying that, he looked at Su Kong and asked, "Who is this young brother?" "He's my husband Su Chong's cousin, Su Kong," Luwen said. "Hello, Brother Hua. I'm your biggest fan. I grew up watching your movies," Su Kong said excitedly. "Su Kong, could you be Qin Wan's son?" Chen Hua asked. "Have you heard of me?" Su Kong asked in confusion. "I've known President Qin for many years. I just heard a few days ago that her missing son had returned. I didn't expect to meet you today," Chen Hua said, then proactively shook hands with Su Kong. Su Kong was stunned. It seemed that his mother, Qin Wan's, influence was far beyond his imagination. At this moment, Su Kang's phone rang. Su Kong picked it up and saw that it was Wang Nan calling. Su Kong said to Chen Hua, "Brother Hua, I need to take this call." After saying that, he stepped aside. As soon as the call was answered, Wang Nan's sweet voice came over. "Su Kong, we're here. Where are you? I'll come find you. Are you in the parking lot?" "Okay, hurry over." Su Kong hung up the phone and said to Lu Wen, "Sister-in-law, my younger sister and Wang Nan have arrived. I'm going to go pick them up." Lu Wen said with a smile, "Go ahead. You can take Wang Nan to look around. Remember to be at the restaurant on the first floor for dinner at 6 o'clock." Su Kong blushed and left. He felt like the whole world knew he and Wang Nan were dating. When he arrived at the Manor's parking lot, he saw a girl in a white dress looking out under a large tree. Su Kong waved his hand and called out, "Wang Nan, I'm here." Wang Nan saw Su Kong and walked towards him. She said, "Have you been here for a long time? I just got here a little while ago. By the way, where are Linny and Uncle Lee? Your sister took a lot of celebrity photos and went to find celebrities to ask for autographs. Uncle Lee is following her." Su Kong laughed and said, "She's at the age where she loves chasing celebrities the most. By the way, I saw your favorite star, Lu Zhe, just now. Do you want me to take you to see him?" "No need to rush." Wang Nan took Su Kang's hand and looked at the small lake in front of them, saying, "Let's go to the lake first. There are many people playing there." Su Kong held Wang Nan's hand and walked towards the lake, saying, "Didn't you say yesterday that you liked Lu Zhe the most? Why are you not so interested today?" Actually, celebrities are just like that. Sometimes when you meet them, it can actually ruin the feeling of liking them. Su Kong felt the same way. He and Wang Nan arrived at the lake and held hands as they slowly walked along, enjoying the lake breeze. The men around them, noticing Wang Nan's appearance, were all casting envious glances at Su Kong. Suddenly, there were exclamations all around. It turned out that Lu Zhe had also come here. Su Kong said with a smile, "Your idol is attracted to you." Wang Nan lightly punched Su Kong and said, "Stop teasing me." However, she still looked curiously at Lu Zhe and said, "I don't think he's as handsome as he is on TV. Aren't you going to go ask her for an autograph?" Wang Nan shook her head. "Just one look is enough. I'm not like your sister." Lu Zhe also noticed Wang Nan. Even though he had seen countless beauties in the entertainment industry, he was still attracted by Wang Nan's appearance and temperament. Seeing Su Kong holding her hand, his expression became uncertain. In his eyes, Su Kong was just a side branch of the Su family and wasn't worthy of holding this girl's hand. Lu Zhe broke free from the crowd around him and walked in front of Wang Nan, giving a smile he considered to be amiable, and said, "Beauty, I'm Lu Zhe. Can we be friends?" Wang Nan was surprised at how rash this person was. Anyone with a normal eye could tell that she and Su Kong were dating, yet he still came over to flirt with her in front of Su Kong. She was disappointed in her former idol. Wang Nan looked at Su Kong. Sure enough, his face had turned red, clearly enraged. Wang Nan said, "No thank you." Lu Zhe smiled, unconcerned, and said, "You have an outstanding appearance and figure. You are a natural fit for acting. I have a lot of resources in my hands. If you follow me, I'll be sure to make you an international superstar. Let's go," Su Kong said, taking Wang Nan by the hand to walk away. Lu Zhe took a few steps forward and blocked their way, saying, "Beauty, think about it. You deserve a broader sky. Don't be blinded by temporary romance." Su Kong was about to explode with anger. It was bad enough that he was flirting with his girlfriend in front of him, but he didn't even bother to look at him. Since coming to Kyoto, when had he ever been looked down upon like this? Su Kong sneered and said, "May I ask, what's your surname?" "My name is Lu Zhe. Of course my surname is Lu." "You misunderstood me. I'm talking about the gender Xing, not the surname Xing." Wang Nan burst into laughter. She hadn't expected Su Kong to be so good at retorting. Lu Zhe hated it the most when anti-fans said he was effeminate. He pointed at Su Kong and said, "You're just a distant relative of the Su family. How dare you talk to me like this? Do you think Su Jiaying can protect you? Are you threatening me?" Lu Zhe smiled contemptuously and said, "So what if I threaten you? What's wrong? Are you scared? It's too late to regret it now. I hope you don't regret it, and don't come crying to me like a sissy begging for forgiveness," Su Kong said. Lu Zhe barely held back the urge to hit him. He took a deep breath and took out a business card from his pocket, saying to Wang Nan, "This is my business card. If you think about it, you can contact me anytime. I'll say it again. You have an outstanding appearance and figure. Don't let a crude little person blind you from your vast potential." After saying that, he looked askance at Su Kong. Wang Nan didn't say anything, nor did she take the business card. She tiptoed and gently kissed Su Kang's lips, then turned to Lu Zhe and said, "My boyfriend isn't a crude person." Lu Zhe withdrew his outstretched hand and left with a resentful look on his face. What a waste of a beautiful flower. Su Kong savored the feeling on his lips. Seeing Wang Nan's face flushed red, as beautiful as a flower about to bloom, he deliberately teased her. "The kiss was so quick just now, I didn't even get a feel for it. Can we do it again?" Su Kong had thought that Wang Nan, being shy, would refuse. But unexpectedly, she tiptoed again and kissed him. Su Kong felt the warmth on his lips, breathing in the faint fragrance of the girl. He felt his mind go blank and almost couldn't breathe. After a long while, their lips parted. Wang Nan lowered her head, looking at her toes, not daring to look at him. Su Kong licked his lips and smiled foolishly. He took Wang Nan's hand again, and they started walking slowly by the lake. Su Kong saw the sun setting and fewer people by the lake. So he said, "It's almost time for the dinner party to start. Let's go over too." The two arrived at the restaurant and found it packed. They searched around, and finally, in a corner, they found Lin Yi still standing with a young, new celebrity. Li He was holding a stack of celebrity posters in one hand and taking pictures with his phone in the other. Su Kong laughed at the sight. It seemed that Li He had been tormented by Lin Yi. Su Kong said, "Lin Yi, are you done? Let's go eat." Lin Yi surprisingly just said okay, seeming to be in a good mood. After taking the photos, she took the phone from Li He and flipped through the previous pictures. "Sister Wang Nan, look at this one. This is a photo I just took with Lu Zhe. Wow, he's really polite." Lin Yi showed a photo on her phone to Wang Nan and said, "Didn't you say you were a fan of Lu Zhe too? How was it? Did you get a photo with him?" Wang Nan shook her head and said, "I don't have a good feeling about him at all now." Lin Yi asked strangely, "Why? I think he's quite nice." Su Kong took Wang Nan's hand and placed it in front of Lin Yi, saying, "What do you think is the relationship between me and Wang Nan?" Lin Yi's face flushed slightly. "What else could it be? You're such a rogue. Sister Wang Nan is so beautiful, even more beautiful than a celebrity. I really don't know what she likes about you. Never mind what she likes about me. Anyone can see that we're a couple, but Lu Zhe actually asked for Wang Nan's contact information in front of me." Lin Yi's eyes darted around. This was gossip, she thought. "And then," she asked, "of course, I shut him down and he left with his tail between his legs." "Is that all?" Su Kong asked strangely. "What else should there be? You're too easygoing. Someone was trying to steal your girlfriend. Shouldn't you have slapped him a few times to teach him a lesson?" Su Kong touched his nose and said, "Wouldn't that be too harsh? Don't ever say you're my brother. I can't stand the embarrassment," Lin Yi said, looking at Su Kong with disdain. Wang Nan thought about what Lu Zhe had said before he left and looked troubled, saying to Su Kong, "Let's try to be more peaceful in the future." Lu Zhe said some harsh words before leaving. "You never know what might happen. If he really wants to mess with you, it'll be hard to defend against." Li He's expression changed upon hearing this. "He wouldn't dare," Lin Yi shouted, drawing curious glances from people around them. Lin Yi didn't care about the stares and said, "You have to look at the owner before hitting the dog." "Is she talking about people? Who's the dog here?" Su Kong said, "He's a celebrity after all. He shouldn't be reckless, right?" Lin Yi ignored Su Kong and turned to Li He. "Uncle Li, call for backup." Li He nodded and stepped aside. He didn't call his buddies but called Qin Wan directly. Su Kong felt touched seeing Lin Yi protecting him, her brother. He said, "Isn't Lu Zhe your idol?" "Pfft, just an actor," Lin Yi said in an old-fashioned manner. "You can serve me tea and water in the future, and I'll protect you." "You little brat looking for a beating?" Lin Yi raised her small fist and punched Su Kang's arm. "Are you trying to die? Call me boss." "Got it, Boss Lin." Wang Nan watched the two funny siblings and couldn't help but laugh. Because there were many people at this event, most people had the buffet at the restaurant. Lu Wen and Su Jiaying had both called Su Kong, asking him to go to the private room. But Su Kong and the others were students and didn't like socializing, so they refused and just had the buffet in the main hall. After Su Kong and the others finished eating, they were about to leave the restaurant when the door of a private room opened. Director Zhao Gang and Hong Kong superstar Chen Hua walked out, chatting and laughing with someone who looked like a boss. Behind them were some big-name movie stars, singers, and some well-known entrepreneurs. Lu Wen and Su Jiaying were also inside, and so was Lu Zhe. When Lin Yi saw Lu Zhe, she shouted loudly, "Lu Zhe, don't run after school. No, I mean, don't run after the banquet." Su Kong couldn't bear to look. What was this? An elementary school fight? And in front of so many people? "My dear sister, are you the reincarnation of a troublemaker?" Lu Zhe was stunned by the shout. He had a deep impression of Lin Yi's multicolored hair. She had just asked for his autograph and pictures. But what did her words mean? Did she still want an autograph after the banquet? It should be, "Don't leave after the banquet." Why was she using run? Lu Zhe's mind stalled and he asked, "What do you want?" Lin Yi raised her small fist and grunted. Luckily, she didn't say, "I'm going to beat you." With the commotion, everyone looked towards Su Kong and his group. Su Jiaying waved and called out, "Su Kong, come here quickly. I'll introduce you to some big stars." The entrepreneur walking at the front heard the name Su Kong and looked over curiously. When he saw Su Kong himself, He walked towards him excitedly and said, Su Kong, you're here too. Is President Qin here? Did she come? Su Kong looked at the slightly overweight entrepreneur and didn't recognize him at all. He said, My mom went to work today. May I ask who you are? Lu Zhe smiled lightly when he heard that Su Kong didn't recognize Ma Xianhui, the boss of Huai, the largest entertainment company in China, and that his mother was a working professional. He thought, as expected, he's just an ordinary person, yet he had dared to humiliate him. Ma Xianhui said with a smile, My name is Ma Xianhui. I even attended your welcoming banquet a few days ago when you returned to Beijing. Seeing the look of sudden understanding on Su Kang's face, he continued, Have you had dinner yet? Why didn't you tell me when you came here? Su Kang said, Hello, Uncle Ma. We just came to have some fun. It's fine with us to just eat casually. Ma Xianhui looked at Su Jiaying and Lu Wen and said, You two sisters-in-law, why didn't you tell me when you brought Su Kang here? How could you let them eat in the main hall? Lu Wen said with a smile, President Ma, you don't know. I called him several times and tried to persuade him, but he just refused to come and wanted to eat in the main hall. I couldn't do anything about it. Su Kang said, Uncle Ma, we're still students and like to be more free. Eating in the private room would be uncomfortable. Ma Xianhui looked at the people behind Su Kang and asked, Are these people with you? This is my younger sister Lin Yi. This is our family driver Uncle Li. Su Kang glanced at Lu Zhe and introduced Wang Nan. And this is my girlfriend, Wang Nan. Ma Xianhui immediately understood. These were young people at the age when love was blooming. He said with a smile, Then go ahead and have fun. Enjoy yourselves. After Ma Xianhui left, Su Jiaying and Lu Wen stayed behind. Su Jiaying smiled and greeted Lin Yi and Wang Nan. Lin Yi, Wang Nan, how is it? Is it fun here? Lin Yi pouted and said, I had a lot of fun, but these two are a bit unhappy. She then glanced at Su Kang and Wang Nan. Lu Wen asked, What happened? Some people were blind and tried to bully us. Lu Wen remembered the scene just now and asked Su Kang, Is it Lu Zhe? What happened with him? Su Kang had no choice but to briefly explain the conflict he had with Lu Zhe. Su Jiaying was extremely angry when she heard this. I clearly told him that Su Kang is my younger brother, yet he dared to be so arrogant. He doesn't take the Su family seriously at all. That's right. I used to be his fan. After the banquet, I'll get someone to beat him up, Lin Yi said. Just beating him up would be letting him off too easy. I'm going to make him lose all his resources and make sure he has no roles to play, said Su Jiaying. Lin Yi felt like she had found a kindred spirit and nodded furiously. Yes, yes, yes. We have to ruin his reputation and make him unable to be a celebrity anymore. Lu Wen shook her head and said to Su Kang, What do you think? Su Kang said, I think it's not necessary to make things too big. Such a softie. You're being bullied to your face, and you can still tolerate it. Lin Yi was still not holding back her words. Lu Wen said, We definitely need to teach him a lesson, but it's really not necessary to make things too big. How about I talk to President Ma about it and get him to put Lu Zhe in his place? Su Kang nodded, thinking that this was a good idea. Lu Wen then looked at Wang Nan and said, Wang Nan, you're also involved. Do you think this is a suitable solution? Seeing that Su Kang had no objections, Wang Nan also nodded. Lu Wen smiled and said to Su Jiaying and Lin Yi, You two shouldn't get involved anymore, always thinking about fighting and killing. Su Jiaying and Lin Yi grunted, clearly not agreeing with the solution. Lu Wen looked at the time and said, The gala is about to start. Let's go quickly. The group arrived at the banquet hall. Since the sponsor of this charity gala was Huai, the main guests were mostly celebrities. Therefore, the seats in the middle of the banquet hall were arranged for popular celebrities. Lu Wen originally wanted to find Ma Xianhui, but when she saw that the gala was about to start, she went back to her own seat with Su Jiaying. Su Kang, Wang Nan, Lin Yi, and Li He sat in the back row. The gala officially started with a song by a popular singer. Lin Yi whispered to Li He, Uncle Li, how many people did you call? What time will they arrive? Li panicked a bit. After calling Qin Wan said that she would handle this matter personally, so he didn't call anyone. Now that Lin Yi asked, he had to say, President Qin already knows about it. She said she will handle it personally. Lin Yi's eyes widened, and she said angrily, Why did you tell my mom? She definitely won't agree to me calling people to fight. Li He was helpless, so he pretended to watch the stage performance. Su Kang said, Okay, sister-in-law Lu Wen is right. We can't always think about fighting and killing. Lin Yi turned her head to the side, sullen and angry. The singer quickly finished a song, said some words of blessing, and then left the stage. Afterwards, a short film was played on the stage screen, mainly introducing how many children in impoverished areas were unable to attend school due to economic difficulties. The short film was simple and unadorned, but it was precisely this authenticity that made it moving. After watching it, Su Kang's eyes were brimming with tears. He remembered countless nights when he couldn't fill his stomach and was so hungry he couldn't sleep, and the time when he didn't have money for medicine and had a cold that almost cost him his life. Among everyone present, only he truly understood the feeling. No matter what, I have to do my part, Su Kang resolved inwardly. After the short film ended, two well-known hosts walked onto the stage. They spoke eloquently and wittily, and after their opening remarks, they not only livened up the atmosphere, but also gave the audience a clearer understanding of the plight of the impoverished children. Finally, they changed the subject and said, "Our Hong Kong and Taiwan superstar Mr. Chen Hua has always been enthusiastic about public welfare. This time, he has brought a Ming Dynasty calligraphy and painting he has treasured for many years. Everyone present can participate in the auction. Mr. Chen Hua has already said that all proceeds from the auction will be donated to students in impoverished areas." After the host finished speaking, a round of enthusiastic applause broke out from below the stage. Chen Hua, who was sitting in the middle of the front row, stood up, bowed to the audience in the back rows, and then took a microphone from a staff member next to him, saying, "Everyone who has come to this gala shows that everyone here has a loving heart. This time, I'm starting the ball rolling, and I hope everyone can lend a helping hand and actively donate to send our care to the children in impoverished areas of our country. Thank you all." The host said, "This painting has been appraised by experts and is definitely authentic. Its market value is estimated to be around 8 million. This time, I, an amateur auctioneer, will host this auction. The starting price is 4 million, and each bid must increase by at least 200,000. Now the auction begins." As soon as the host's voice fell, the atmosphere at the gala became lively. The auction price was quickly driven up to 2 million by the people in attendance. Compared to the beginning, there were now much fewer people bidding. "Are there any more bids?" 9. 2 million once, 9. 2 million twice. 9. 2 million. I bid 9. 5 million. Lu Zhe raised his hand and said unhurriedly, "Recently, there have been always black fans targeting his acting skills. He intends to go all out at this gala to attract the attention of major media and reverse his reputation." As expected, after Lu Zhe bid, everyone in attendance looked towards him. Lu Zhe slightly raised his head, enjoying the attention. Hearing Lu Zhe's bid, Lin Yi snorted. "He still wants to show off." Lin Yi said to Su Kang, "Hey, do you have any money?" Su Kang frowned. "I'm your brother. Don't call me hey. Stop the nonsense. Just tell me how much money you have on you." 12 million. Su Kang didn't dare tell the truth. He was afraid that Lin Yi would squander all his money. "I bid 10 million. As soon as Su Kang finished speaking, Lin Yi shouted loudly. She was worried that others wouldn't see her, so she not only stood up but also raised her left hand high. Everyone in attendance looked at Lin Yi with curiosity. Who was this little girl? Did she really have so much money? The host was also confused. Lin Yi looked only 14 or 15 years old and had multicolored hair. Could she be here to make trouble? The host put on a smile that he thought was amiable and said, "Little miss, is your family adult here? You can't just bid randomly." Lin Yi pointed to Su Kang, saying, "He's my brother, and he has money." Everyone looked towards Su Kang, but he was just a teenager, and they couldn't help but shake their heads. This pair of siblings were either here to make trouble, or they had no concept of money. Just as the host was feeling embarrassed, he saw Ma Xianhui, who was in the middle of the front row, nod to him. The host understood and said with a smile, "Little beauty, what's your name?" "Lin Yi." The host chuckled and said, "I didn't expect our little beauty, to be so chivalrous and kind-hearted. Is there anyone else who wants to bid?" Lin Yi was very happy to hear that. She didn't expect that the host, despite not being handsome, was so good with words. Lu Zhe sat below the stage, looking at Su Kang with resentment. He didn't believe that this pair of siblings could come up with 10 million. It must be Su Kang's idea, just to annoy him. Lu Zhe gritted his teeth and shouted, 10, 2 million, 11 million. As soon as Lu Zhe finished speaking, Lin Yi immediately followed up with a bid, and the price increased sharply. 11, 2 million. Lu Zhe gritted his teeth and continued to bid. 12 million. Lin Yi immediately made another bid. Lu Zhe's face was ashen. Since his debut, when had he ever been humiliated like this? It was simply a slap in the face. The others also sensed something was up. This little girl hadn't bid at the beginning, but she added the price immediately when Lu Zhe bid. This was clearly aimed at Lu Zhe. When did Lu Zhe offend such a little devil? Su Jiaying, who was sitting next to Lu Zhe, almost burst out laughing as she watched him suffer. She whispered to Lu Wen next to her, "I think Lu Zhe needs someone like Lin Yi to teach him a lesson." He deserves it. Lu Wen glared at Su Jiaying, saying, "Don't talk, just watch the show." Ma Xianhui, the president of Hawaii, was also surprised. How did Lu Zhe offend Lin Yi? Thinking that after dinner, Lin Yi had publicly told Lu Zhe not to leave after the gala. What was that about? Were they going to have a fight like elementary schoolers? The more Ma Xianhui thought about it, the more likely it seemed. Now he could only wait until the gala was over, and then try to mediate. He hoped that the little girl would give him some face. Ma Xianhui raised his hand and shouted, "I bid 13 million. After Ma Xianhui shouted, almost everyone looked at Lin Yi. However, she was acting nonchalant and didn't bid anymore. There was a murmur in the hall. Lu Zhe's face turned red and white. He pretended to look at the stage, but he could still feel the gazes of others. He now wished he could tie the siblings to stones and throw them into the city moat to relieve his hatred. In the end, the painting was auctioned off to Ma Xianhui for 13 million. Ma Xianhui was invited onto the stage, and after saying a few polite words, the gala entered its second phase, the donation phase. Donations were voluntary. Staff members gave everyone present a small sign and a pen. You could write down how much you were willing to donate on the sign and then take it to the stage to show everyone. After Su Kong received the sign, he was about to write down the amount, but Lin Yi stopped him. "Don't write yet. I'm afraid there won't be enough money." Su Kong asked curiously, "What do you mean?" Seeing that Lu Zhe was getting up to go on stage, Lin Yi said quickly, "I'll write it on the stage. I want to donate more than Lu Zhe. The rest is up to you how much you want to donate." After saying that, she took the pen and the small sign and walked towards the stage. By this time, the people who were preparing to go on stage were already lined up. Lin Yi, while squeezing to the front, said, "Excuse me, please let me cut in line." The others were a little impatient when they heard this. But after seeing that it was Lin Yi, they quickly made way. They watched her stop right behind Lu Zhe, and then they all had an enlightened expression. This little devil was definitely holding back something. Lu Zhe heard the discussions nearby and turned his head curiously. He saw Lin Yi behind him. Lu Zhe was startled. He remembered that the person behind him was someone else. How did she get there? What did this little devil want now? Was she never going to stop? Seeing that he turned his head to look at her, Lin Yi shouted, "What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a beauty before, you pervert?" Lu Zhe felt as if he had eaten a fly when he heard this. But he had no way of arguing with her. He could only turn his head and ignore her. Soon, it was Lu Zhe's turn to go on stage. He adjusted his attitude and faced the audience, saying, "In order to support children in impoverished areas so that they can attend school and have food to eat, I will donate 2 million yuan to the Project Hope." After Lu Zhe finished speaking, a voice came. "TSK, only donated 2 million. What a big shot." The voice was not loud, not soft, but Lu Zhe heard it. The host next to Lu Zhe also heard it. And also Ma Xianhui and others sitting in the front row also heard it. 2 million was already a lot, all right? Didn't they see that most of the people only donated a few 100,000? Lu Zhe glared fiercely at Lin Yi, barely suppressing the urge to explode. Seeing that Lu Zhe dared to glare at her, Lin Yi said to Lu Zhe, "What are you looking at, you big shot? Should I lend you some more money so you can make it too? 5 million. The host, standing next to her, was speechless at the things that were coming out of Lin Yi's mouth. Whose family's wild child was this, so fierce? Lu Zhe took a deep breath and endured the urge to hit her and quickly walked off the stage. He just wanted the gala to end quickly now. After Lu Zhe left the stage, Lin Yi couldn't wait to go on stage. The host saw that there was nothing written on her small sign and asked curiously, "Little miss, are you also going to donate?" Lin Yi rolled her eyes. "Otherwise, why would I come up here?" Then, she picked up the pen and wrote on the small sign Lin Yi 201 million. After writing it, she looked provocatively at Lu Zhe, who had just left the stage. Lu Zhe turned his head and didn't look at her. He could only act like an ostrich now. "Thank you, Miss Lin Yi, for donating 201 million yuan to students in impoverished areas. I didn't expect Miss Lin Yi to be so young, yet so beautiful, kind-hearted, and with the heart of a bodhisattva. On behalf of the students in those impoverished areas, I thank Miss Lin Yi for extending a helping hand." The host's professional praise made Lin Yi feel a little carried away. This host was so good with words, she should donate a little more. Su Kong saw that Lin Yi was still acting like a child on the stage and couldn't help but smile. He turned his head and asked Wang Nan, "Wang Nan, are you going to donate?" Wang Nan said helplessly, "I also want to help those children in impoverished areas, but I don't have much money with me." "It's okay, I'll give you some." After speaking, he turned his head to Li He and said, "Uncle Li, I'll also give you some money. How about each of us 3 donate 1 million? Is that okay?" Li quickly said, "Young Master Su, no need. Mister, Cheen pays me a very good salary. I'll do it myself. Whether I donate a lot or a little, it's my own way of showing my heart. Wang Nan didn't expect that Li He would say this, and she couldn't help but feel ashamed. Since her grandfather died a year ago, her parents had been very patriarchal and had always been tight with her allowance. Wang Nan was also a proud person. If you don't give it to me, I don't want it. So, she never had much pocket money with her. A few days ago, she had spent more than 10,000 to buy a watch for Su Kong. Now, there was only 18,000 left in her card. Wang Nan said to Su Kong, "Uncle Li is right. How can you use your money for donations? I'll do it myself." After saying that, she wrote Wang Nan 15,000 on her small sign. Seeing that Su Kong was staring at her with vacant eyes, she said, "What's wrong with you?" Su Kong sighed and said, "A few days ago, I was still called Lu Shuai. I was renting the cheapest house in a small county in the south. In order to make money for my university tuition, I was still carrying bricks at a construction site in such hot weather. Every day, I would carefully save the money I earned. Although it was hard, I felt very secure. Now, everything I eat, wear, use, and live in is the most luxurious. I don't have to do anything, and I have tens of millions of pocket money in my card. But I still have a feeling of unease and unreality in my heart. It wasn't until just now that I understood that these superior conditions were not created by myself. I'm afraid that I will lose them one day. So I have become so anxious." "You're just being dramatic," Wang Nan said. "So many people hope that they have rich parents. You're complaining about it." "That's not what I mean. Don't twist my words." Su Kong said quickly, but in his heart he thought, "Tomorrow I should go find a summer job." "What are you talking about?" Lin Yi came down from the stage. Seeing that Su Kang's small sign was still blank, she asked, "Are you going to learn from me and write the amount on stage? Or are you such a miser that you can't bear to part with your own money?" Su Kong ignored her and wrote Su Kong 10,000 on his small sign. "No way, Su Kong, did you write it wrong? You're missing 1,000. Lin Yi saw that Su Kong was not talking and continued, "What are you going to do with so much money? Are you going to use it to find a wife?" Su Kong secretly looked at Wang Nan and saw her face blushing slightly. He quickly said to Lin Yi, "If you keep making noise, I won't pay that too. 1 million for you. Then let's see how you will save face in front of so many people." "You wouldn't dare." Although Lin Yi's tone was tough, she still closed her mouth angrily until Su Kong and the others went to the stage. Then she said to Su Kang's back, "Humph, the #1 miser in the world." Li He was the first one of the 3 to go on stage. He donated 30,000, which was the lowest amount donated so far. There was only scattered applause from below the stage, and some people even laughed. Even the host just said a few perfunctory words and let him leave the stage. Su Kong felt a little uncomfortable seeing Li He so depressed. The point of donating to impoverished children was a good thing. Why should you be discriminated against for donating less? As expected, arrogance and prejudice were innate to humanity, and they did not disappear with the progress of society. Su Kong held Wang Nan's hand and walked onto the stage together. Seeing that the host's gaze kept focusing on Wang Nan's face, he felt displeased. He took the microphone and said, "My name is Su Kong, and I donated 10,000. After speaking, other than Lu Wen, Su Jiaying, and a few others who applauded, almost everyone else was looking at Wang Nan, and some even jeered. Su Kong had expected this kind of result. He handed the microphone to Wang Nan, wanting to end this quickly and get off the stage. Wang Nan took the microphone and said, "My name is Wang Nan, and I donated 15,000. Her voice was ethereal and pleasant, attracting applause from everyone. This was indeed a world that valued looks. Wang Nan handed the microphone to the host and was about to leave the stage with Su Kong, but the host stepped forward and stopped them. He said with a smile on his face, "This beautiful lady, please wait. Are you two a couple?" Wang Nan looked back at Su Kong and saw that he was smiling at her. She nodded shyly. "It's not good to be in a relationship at such a young age. It will affect your future development." The host put on a knowing look and continued, "I think you have a pure and beautiful face and a sweet voice, which is perfect for developing in the entertainment industry. Also, look, there are so many veterans here. As long as any of them are willing to take you under their wing, would you still be afraid of not becoming a star tomorrow?" "I'm sorry, but I don't plan to go that route." The host was stunned for a moment. He hadn't expected to be rejected so decisively. Not wanting to give up, he said, "Look at the people here. Basically, their donations start at 200,000, and some even donate 1 or 2 million. Don't you want to be one of them?" After speaking, he glanced at Su Kong, feeling that he was dark, thin, and had no aura, and did not match Wang Nan, who was so beautiful. He said with a smile, "Look at your boyfriend. He has an average appearance and no money. There are so many tall, rich, and handsome men in the entertainment industry. You can easily find someone better than him if you closed your eyes. As soon as these words came out, the entire room erupted in cheers. Su Kong only felt a rush of blood straight to the top of his head. Was he a clown with no dignity that they could mock and make fun of? What are you barking about? Is Su Kong someone you can make fun of? Lin Yi stood on a chair in the back row, pointing at the host and yelling. The host was stunned when he saw Lin Yi. Did this little devil also know Su Kong? Ming Wei, you better not regret what you just said. This time, it was Su Jiaying who spoke. Why are you all laughing? What's so funny? This time it was Lu Wen who spoke. Xiao Ming, do you know what you're saying? Apologize to young Master Su now. This time, it was Ma Xianhui who spoke. Only then did Ming Hui, the host, belatedly realize that Su Kong must not be an ordinary person. How could he have said those words just now? Seeing that Su Kang's face was unpleasant, Wang Nan tightened her grip on Su Kang's hand and said, Su Kong, don't be angry. Let's go down first. You're the best in my heart, better than everyone else here. Su Kong shook his head. There were some things he had to say. He snatched the microphone from the host, Ming Hui, and looked at the well-dressed crowd below, saying, I know that I have an average appearance, and I know that by myself I can't earn much money in a day. But why do you all look down on ordinary people like us? Is 10,000 yuan very little? That's the money that I earned by carrying bricks on a construction site. Is the 30,000 yuan that Uncle Lee donated very little? That's what he saved by being frugal. In terms of wealth, you do have much more than us, but in terms of love and kindness, we are no less than you. After Su Kong finished speaking, he wanted to throw down the microphone and leave the stage. But he saw Lu Zhe's disdainful expression and stared at him, saying, some people have some stinky money and think that they are superior to everyone else. But there are always people beyond people and heavens beyond heavens. Don't trip over something one day. After Su Kong finished speaking, he felt relaxed all over. Seeing that Wang Nan was looking at him with a dazed expression, he smiled at her and said, let's go down. At that moment, the doors of the hall were opened, and everyone looked over curiously. A graceful and luxurious-looking woman walked in. Before getting in the car, Qin Wan specifically had Su Kong and Lin Yi ride in the Maserati, while Wang Nan rode with her in another car. Su Kong looked at Qin Wan suspiciously, but ultimately didn't ask why. Qin Wan saw that Wang Nan was quite reserved and said with a smile, Xiao Nan, where are you going to university, in China or abroad? Wang Nan blushed and said, I failed in Jiangqing University. What major is it? The same as Su Kang's. Su Kong chose computer science. He specifically discussed it with me. He thinks the computer field will be a major trend in the future, so he chose that major. What about you? What did you consider? Qin Wan asked, then, seeing that Wang Nan was silent, continued. I guess you simply wanted to be with Su Kong, right? Wang Nan's face was completely red. Luckily, it was dark in the car, so it wasn't visible. She softly replied with a yes, but didn't dare to look at Qin Wan. You're in a good relationship with Su Kong now, so you always think about wanting to be together, neglecting your own development plans. But have you considered that everything in the world is constantly changing? What if one day your relationship with Su Kong isn't so good anymore? What would you do? Or let's say you marry Su Kong in the future. Will you rely on Su Kong for everything and just be a wealthy housewife, getting manicures and playing cards all day? Hearing this, Wang Nan was shocked. She had been an outstanding student since childhood, proud and arrogant. She looked down on her mother for her subservient attitude towards her father. But what she was doing now was no different from her mother. Qin Wan continued, Of course, if Su Kong likes you, even if you don't do anything, our family can support you. But you're so talented. You should have your own pursuits and value in life. Don't you think? Wang Nan said, I understand, Annie Qin. I will prove myself. Qin Wan smiled with satisfaction and said, Since you've already chosen computer science, then don't change it. However, you can also take a minor in business management. You can also read books on management in your free time. It will always benefit you. Wang Nan was both surprised and touched. Qin Wan's words basically treated her as one of the family. Wang Nan said emotionally, Thank you, Annie Qin. Qin Wan took out a card and said, There is 1 million in this card. When you go shopping with Su Kong, help him change his wardrobe. What he's wearing now is all still what I bought him in that small county. He's too frugal and unwilling to spend money. I'll give you this task. Is that okay? Wang Nan hesitated and said, That's not appropriate. Qin Wan put the card in Wang Nan's hand and said, There's nothing inappropriate about it. Young people in love have to spend money. Su Kong is such a blockhead. He probably hasn't even given you flowers yet, right? You can spend this money as you see fit. No need to save it for me. Wang Nan chuckled and said, Su Kong is a very down-to-earth person. I think he's great. Qin Wan smiled knowingly, then couldn't help but think of Su Kang's father, Su Kaixing. This father and son were so similar in personality, but now they are separated by life and death. The next morning, major news websites broke the big entertainment scandal. The popular young idol Liu Zhe was taken away by the police for raping a minor. The news was being discussed in every corner of the city. But the families who knew some inside information were focused on how Qin Wan had managed to gather evidence of the popular young idol's crime in just a few hours and take him away right in front of Huai CEO, Ma Xianhui. This showed her immense power. In short, this morning Kyoto was very lively. Su Kang didn't know that his legend was circulating everywhere in Kyoto. He had just come out of a coffee shop frowning. He had already tried several companies but had been rejected. There were already very few summer jobs available. And because he had to take time off for driving lessons, companies immediately refused when they heard his request. Su Kang didn't give up and saw that there was a Western restaurant next door with a sign that said, "Employee hiring" at the entrance, so he went in again. Because it was almost lunchtime, there were several customers eating in the restaurant. The waitress Fujin saw Su Kang come in, thinking he wanted to eat, and immediately went to greet him, asking, "Handsome, what would you like to eat?" Su Kang said nervously, "I saw the sign at the door, saying you are hiring, so I came in." Fujin smiled and said, "Are you here to apply?" Su Kang nodded. "Then please wait a moment, I'll go get the boss." After a while, a woman in her 40s came over. She looked Su Kang up and down and asked, "Summer job?" Su Kang nodded, then nervously looked at the boss, worried that she would turn him down like the others. The female boss pointed to a seat next to her and said, "Sit down and we'll talk." After they sat facing each other, the female boss said, "The normal employee wage here is 4,000 yuan a month. For a summer job, it will be less, 3,000 yuan a month. You get 4 days off a month. The work hours are from 10 in the morning to 10 at night. How is that? Can you accept it?" Su Kang was overjoyed when he heard this and said, "No problem." Before, when he was looking for a summer job in the small county after the college entrance exams, the salary was only 1,000 yuan or so. That salary was not enough for college tuition. So Su Kang had reluctantly chosen to work at a construction site carrying bricks. The most important thing was that he would start work at 10 in the morning, which wouldn't conflict with his driving lessons. The female boss said, "Do you have any other questions? How is the salary calculated if I take more than 4 days off that month?" "It will be deducted 150 yuan each time it's exceeded." Su Kang thought it was acceptable and said, "Okay, when can I start working?" "If you are free today, you can start now, and it will be counted as a day's salary." "Okay, I'll start working today. There are a few more things I want to say. First, you have to wear a uniform during work. Second, lunch is usually at 2 p.m. and dinner is at 9:30 p.m. Eating is prohibited at all other times. Third, you can't use your phone during work. Fourth, you have to pay the original price for any damaged items. Is that okay?" "No problem." So Su Kang's first day of work officially began. He changed into the customized uniform of the Western restaurant, helped customers order, served dishes, and poured water, busying himself happily. Fujin saw that it was Su Kang's first day at work. So many things weren't familiar to him. Like a warm-hearted older sister, she helped him out a lot. After the noon rush, the restaurant staff could take a short break. Fujin looked around and saw that Su Kang was cleaning a table, so she went to help. Su Kang quickly said, "Sister Fu, it's just a little work. I'll do it myself." Fujin said, "It's okay, I'm just idle anyway." She thought that although Su Kang was slow, he was very serious, so she had a good impression of him. "Thank you, Sister Fu. You must be a college student, right? You don't look like a poor kid. Why would you want to be a waiter?" "I didn't have anything to do at home anyways. I just came out to find something to do." "I thought your parents were forcing you to come," Fujin said while wiping the table. "My younger brother back home took the college entrance exam this year and got a little over 400 points. All he knows is to play games. I wish he could be like you." Su Kang smiled and said, "Everyone has different experiences, so their thoughts are different." Soon they had finished cleaning the table. Fujin picked up a stack of 7 or 8 dirty plates, preparing to send them to the back kitchen. Su Kang quickly said, "Sister Fu, these are a bit heavy. Let me carry them." Fujin said with a smile, "It's the same for me to carry them. The first day at work is usually tiring. You should take a break." After saying that, she carried the dirty plates toward the back kitchen. But as she reached a corner, a child suddenly ran out. Fujin quickly dodged to the side. Because there was a lot of grease on the dirty plates, her hand slipped, and with a crashing sound, all the plates fell to the ground and shattered. Su Kang hurried over and said, "Sister Fu, are you okay?" "I'm okay, but all these plates are broken." Fujin frowned. Other employees in the restaurant heard the noise and came to check. Some took brooms to help sweep up the fragments. The female boss came out of her office, looked at the mess on the ground, and said with a straight face to Fu Jin, "Fu Jin, did you do that?" "I'm sorry, Boss Xiao. A child suddenly ran out, and I was careless. Come to my office right now." The female boss interrupted her impatiently, then turned around and went into her office. Fu Jin followed her in anxiously. With a bang, the office door was closed. Su Kong saw that the female boss's expression was not good just now and was a little worried about Fu Jin. He helped clean up the shattered pieces with the other employees. Just as he was pondering how to share some of the burden for Fu Jin, he suddenly heard a rather familiar voice. "Boss, order." Su Kong looked in the direction of the voice and was surprised to see that it was Qin Wan's secretary Zhao Rong. Qin Wan was sitting opposite her. Su Kong was very surprised. Was his mother, Qin Wan, sending people to follow him? Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence? Seeing that none of the other waiters moved, he quickly stepped forward and said softly, "Mom, why are you here?" Qin Wan put on a surprised expression and said, "Xiao Kong, what are you doing here? What are you up to? Are you working as a waiter?" "No, Mom. Can you stop acting? I just got a summer job here, and you happen to come here to eat. What are the odds? Did you have someone follow me? Or did you put a tracker on me?" Qin Wan said seriously, "Is that so? How could that be? I just came here to take care of some business. And it just happened that I came here to eat. You can ask Xiao Zhao if you don't believe me." Su Kong looked towards Zhao Rong, only to see her cheeks puffed out as she tried to hold back laughter. She said, "President Qin and I really did come here for business." Seeing that they wouldn't admit it, Su Kong felt helpless. He simply picked up the menu and said, "What would the two bosses like to eat?" When Zhao Rong and Qin Wan were out entertaining, she would always order the food. This time, she was just about to take the menu as usual when she saw Qin Wan had already taken it, and then ordered over a dozen items in a row. "Can you two even eat that much?" Su Kong muttered, and after writing the order, he was about to take it to the kitchen. But then he heard Qin Wan say, "Let Xiao Zhao take the menu to the kitchen. You sit next to me, and let's chat, mother and son." Su Kong hesitated. "That's not good. I'm still working." Zhao Rong took the menu from Su Kong, smiling and saying, "I'll go." Then she left with the menu. Su Kong stood next to Qin Wan, still unwilling to sit down. He said, "Mom, what did you want to say?" Qin Wan looked at Su Kong with gentle eyes, pausing for a while before saying, "Xiao Kong, tell me the truth. Is there a rift between you and Uncle Lin or your sister? Is that why you don't want to stay at home?" "No, I think they're great." "Then do you still hate me in your heart?" Qin Wan said, her voice trembling. Su Kong was startled to hear this. He looked at Qin Wan and saw that her eyes were a little red. He quickly and flusteredly said, "No, Mom, what's wrong? Why would you say that? I think being with you is great. Then why don't you use my money, and you have to come out and work?" Upon hearing this, Su Kong understood the reason for Qin Wan's unusual behavior. He couldn't help but smile and say, "Mom, it's not what you think. Don't overthink things." Seeing that Qin Wan was still looking at him with a serious face, he sighed and said, "Mom, you know that I used to often go hungry. Even though I'm back in Kyoto now, I'm still afraid of being hungry, so sometimes I bring some snacks and fruit to my room. It's not because I really want to eat them, but because being able to see food as soon as I open my eyes gives me a sense of security. The reason I got a summer job is the same. At home, I have everything handed to me, and living that kind of life is too comfortable. I feel like I should be doing something, otherwise, I'd feel uneasy. So, Mom, I've never hated you, and it's not that I have a rift with Uncle Lin and Linny. I just want to live in a way that feels comfortable for me." Qin Wan hadn't expected Su Kong to say something like that. She always thought about making it up to Su Kong, but she never asked him what he really wanted. Qin Wan asked again, "Then why don't you use the money I give you?" Su Kong scratched his head and said, "I have food and clothes every day when I go home. I really don't know where else to spend money." Qin Wan thought about it, and it was true. He didn't smoke, drink, gamble, or socialize, so there really was nowhere to spend money. Qin Wan's inner knot untied, and she couldn't help but smile and ask, "How much do you make here?" 3,000 a month. Is that 8 hours a day and weekends off? 12 hours a day for days off a month." Qin Wan was shocked and said, "How could you agree to such conditions?" Su Kong had a bitter face as he said, "There was no choice. I looked for a whole morning, and this was the only place that was willing to hire a summer worker, and it didn't interfere with my driving lessons. Then why don't you just come work at my company? 8 hours a day, weekends off, and I'll give you 5,000 a month. How about that? What could I do at your company? And with you protecting me, everyone would treat me like a young master." Qin Wan smiled and said, "With just your high school diploma, you think you can get into headquarters? At least everyone there has a master's degree from a prestigious university. I'm letting you go to a branch office, to sell houses, Didn't you say the other day that housing prices might go down? Quickly help me sell a few more houses. Don't worry, I'm very busy, I don't have time to manage you. Su Kong made a bitter face. Pouring tea and water? That I can do, but selling houses? How am I supposed to do that? Zhao Rong and a waitress came over. Su Kong remembered that the waitress was named Zhu Xian. She was a very cheerful girl. She was pushing a cart full of food. Su Kong was just about to leave when Qin Wan grabbed him. Aren't you going to eat? I ordered this especially for you. Su Kong looked at the food on the table and felt even hungrier. He forced himself to say, Mom, I'm still working. Can you eat when you're working? What if you get hungry? Qin Wan pretended to be angry. The waitress, Zhu Xian, was seeing this situation for the first time and couldn't help but find it a bit funny. She said to Su Kong, look how much your mom cares about you. She came to see you on your first day of work. She looked at the table full of food and said with a pained expression, you ordered way too much. That's like half a month's salary. Qin Wan was very happy to hear this and said to Zhu Xian, you don't know how much he can eat. I'm almost not able to support him. After saying that, she laughed herself. Su Kang's face turned completely red. Am I really that much of an eater? It seems like I am, Zhu Xian whispered. Eat your mom's. What are you afraid of? Besides, the boss is in her office. She can't see. She looked at the table with envy. I've been working here for more than a year, and I still haven't tasted the Western food in our restaurant. Qin Wan smiled slightly and said, then let's all eat together. Xiao Zhao, go call over all the waiters. It's on me today. Annie, really? There are a lot of us here. Of course, it's true. Seeing that Qin Wan didn't seem to be joking, Zhu Xian happily said to Zhao Rong, Miss, you sit and rest. I'll go call them over. After saying that, Zhu Xian ran off happily. Su Kong looked at Qin Wan speechlessly. He'd never seen a mother so wasteful. At that moment, the door to the female boss's office opened, and Fu Jin walked out looking distressed. Su Kong quickly went up to her and asked, Sister Fu, what did the boss say? Fu Jin sighed and said, I'm having 2,000 yuan deducted from this month's salary. How could she deduct that much? These few plates aren't worth that much money. Fu Jin looked behind her. Luckily, the door was closed. The female boss shouldn't be able to hear. She said, forget it, it's nothing, let's go. Fu Jin watched as Zhu Xian led all the waiters past her with smiles on their faces and asked strangely, Zhu Xian, what are you guys doing? Sister Fu, don't you know? Su Kang's mom is going to treat us all to Western food. Fu Jin looked at Su Kong with a puzzled expression, and he helplessly shrugged. Zhu Xian grabbed Fu Jin's hand and said, let's go together. Su Kang's mom looks like she's super rich. Fu Jin was pulled by Zhu Xian to where Qin Wan was. As Zhu Xian had said, the older woman was dignified and beautiful, and you could tell at a glance that she wasn't ordinary. The younger one was wearing a business suit with women's glasses and also had a lot of temperament. Qin Wan said, order whatever you want to eat. Don't try to save me money. Fu Jin hesitated and said, but it's still working hours. Isn't this inappropriate? What if customers come in? At this hour, who's going to come in? Even if someone does, we'll just go serve them then. After speaking, Zhu Xian picked up a menu and shouted to everyone, what do you want to eat? Order with me. So everyone started talking at once, some wanting steak, others wanting pasta. Fu Jin saw that many people ordered several dishes, so she shouted, order only what you can eat. No one's money grows on trees. Qin Wan smiled and said, it's okay. Eat your fill. Don't go hungry. At this moment, a stern voice suddenly rang out. What are you doing? Don't you know it's working hours? The female boss, Xiao Hui, walked toward them looking angry, and the originally lively restaurant immediately became quiet. Su Kong whispered to Qin Wan, that's the boss. She's terrible. Just now, Sister Fu accidentally broke a few plates, and she deducted 2,000 yuan from her salary. Qin Wan looked at Xiao Hui displeased, seeing her walking over with her nose in the air, and couldn't help but frown. Zhao Rong quickly got up and walked toward Xiao Hui, saying, are you the owner of this restaurant? Our CEO Qin is treating us to a meal here. Is there a problem with that? Xiao Hui saw that Zhao Rong had an extraordinary demeanor, and her arrogance immediately dropped by half. The noble lady, called Qin, was sitting upright in her seat, not even glancing at her. Xiao Hui felt uneasy and said with a smile, of course, that's fine. How many of you are there? What would you like to eat? Then, she said to Fu Jin and the others, what are you all doing here? It's affecting the dining experience of our customers. Boss, you've misunderstood. Our CEO Qin is treating them. Xiao Hui suspected she had misheard and said, treating who? The waiters in my restaurant. Who else would she be treating? Zhao Rong said. Xiao Hui was speechless. She turned her head to look at Qin Wan and saw that she still had a blank expression, and had not even looked at her once from beginning to end. Xiao Hui felt uncomfortable, as if she was being ignored. She guessed that the person who wanted to treat the restaurant's waiters to a meal for no reason was definitely not an ordinary person, and was not someone she could afford to offend. So she turned to Fu Zhen and said, "Later, you can do the serving first. When they finish eating, then you can come and eat." Fu Zhen was about to agree when she heard Qin Wan speak. "I am treating my guest to a meal, but you are making her be a server. Is that appropriate?" Xiao Hui's face turned awkward, and she said, "But someone still needs to bring the food and pour the water." Qin Wan glanced at Xiao Hui and said faintly, "Aren't you human?" Xiao Hui's face changed. She suppressed her inner resentment and said, "Okay, then I will do the serving today. I will guarantee that you'll be satisfied." The others looked at Qin Wan, then at Xiao Hui, and for a moment they were stunned, not knowing what to do. Qin Wan laughed and said, "You guys go ahead and order. Order whatever you want." After speaking, she pulled Su Kong to sit next to her, placed a piece of steak in front of him, and said, "Eat quickly. You must be starving." Su Kong was indeed unbearably hungry, and without caring about the others' gazes, he picked up the steak and started to eat. The others quickly placed their orders and gradually began to eat as well. Xiao Hui was actually the one who was constantly serving tea and water, busy with everything. She was the only one who was hungry. Qin Wan didn't eat much, spending most of her time watching Su Kong eat. When Su Kong was almost finished, Qin Wan said, "What do you think about what I just said? If you really like being a waiter, I have many hotels under my name, and you can pick whichever you want, or I can give you a hotel, and you can try managing it yourself." "Mom, please don't say any more. I agree. I'll go sell my house tomorrow." Su Kong quickly stopped Qin Wan. He knew that after what happened today, it was unrealistic to work here for a summer job. Su Kong looked around and saw Fu Zhen eating not far away. He walked over to her, took out his wallet, took out 2,000 yuan in cash, and said, "Sister Fu, because of me, your salary was deducted today. Take this money, or I'll feel really bad about it." Fu Zhen was stunned, and then relieved. She accepted the cash and said, "Thank you." Fu Zhen guessed that Su Kang's family must be very wealthy, and his so-called summer job was just a rich young master experiencing life. Many people one meets in life are just passing strangers and won't have any connection with one another. Su Kang was different, and in Fu Zhen's mind, it was like a pebble thrown into the water, creating ripples, but eventually settling back to calmness. Fu Zhen accepted Su Kang's gift with composure. Perhaps after this day, they would never meet again. Su Kang said, "My mom doesn't agree with me working here for the summer. I'm going to leave with her later. If Boss Xiao is still targeting you, then come find me. I'll have my mom arrange a job for you." Then, Su Kang gave her his phone number. "Su Kang, you're really not going to work anymore?" Zhu Xin, who was eating nearby, said. Seeing Su Kang nod, she also took out her phone and said, "If I can't make it one day, I'll come rely on you. Don't look down on me." Su Kang laughed and said, "Of course not." Su Kang went to the changing room to change back into his original clothes. When he came out, he saw that Qin Wan and Zhao Rong were at the cashier paying the bill, and Xiao Hui was standing awkwardly to one side. Su Kang walked over. The total cost of the lunch was 9,760 yuan. Qin Wan said to Zhao Rong, "Just charge 10,000 directly. The extra can be the boss's tip." Xiao Hui's face was awkward, but she didn't say anything. She cooperated with Zhao Rong to swipe the card. Then she heard Qin Wan continue, "Boss, shouldn't you settle my Xiao Kang's salary for today?" Xiao Hui looked at Qin Wan with mixed feelings and took out 500 yuan in cash. Su Kang only took one red bill from her hand and said, "I didn't really work for the day. It's still you who's losing out by giving me 100. Su Kang saw that Xiao Hui was being thoroughly embarrassed by Qin Wan and looked wronged. He couldn't bear it and said, "Boss, my mom can be very willful sometimes. Don't take it to heart." After he said this, he felt a pain in his side. Su Kang looked at Qin Wan and saw her smiling at him. Su Kang endured the pain and said, "Mom, can you be gentler? You've already made my flesh red." Qin Wan blushed. "You brat, I can't be bothered with you." Then, seeing that Zhao Rong wanted to laugh but didn't dare, she said in embarrassment, Zhao, why aren't you leaving? Don't you have to go to work in the afternoon?" Zhao Rong quickly said, "Oh," and followed Qin Wan out. Su Kang sighed and followed them out. After a few steps, he suddenly thought of something and turned back to say, "Boss Xiao, I think you should be more tolerant of your employees. Otherwise, they'll all leave like me. Who's going to bring tea and water then?" Xiao Hui didn't expect that one day she would actually be lectured by a high school student. She didn't come back to her senses until Su Kang walked out the door and followed Qin Wan into a Land Rover Range Rover. Seeing that the employees in the restaurant were looking at her, not daring to eat, and some even stood up. Xiaohui felt like a harsh, evil capitalist for the first time. She panicked and walked to her office. She opened the door, but didn't immediately go inside. After pausing for a moment, she said, "Starting today, everyone's salary will be raised by 300. Then she closed the office door in a flurry. The cheers of the employees came from outside. Xiaohui finally relaxed and couldn't help but think that maybe the young man was right.